Hello and welcome back to Starcraft Brood War. In this episode, we finish off the Insurgent mission by, well, taking out this particular base up here. This base up here is we are specifically taking for the Vespane because we don't have a decent other source of Vespane to use, and we kind of need two going at all times. Now, thankfully, this base is not actually all that hard to defend once we actually get up here. We didn't need the shuttle for the record. There's a ramp that's just outside our base right there that we can use. But I didn't see that flying over here with our observer. Hello, ramp that I now get to see.
Hey, a ramp.
Yeah, past Gerdat specifically thought that you would need to shuttle up there because a lot of the more useful resource bases require you to airdrop probes in order to actually get what you want. Ack! Reaver! No!
Done it. Reaver. Oh boy. Mind control the Reaver. He's destroying my jewels! Go after him.
There. We have successfully mind-controlled units.
My red cloud is angry.
You know, I never did play the Dark Cloud games. Speaking of things that I've been doing recently, I've been playing a bit of Romancing Saga on the PS2, and I like it. I like it a lot, actually, but I'm fucking terrible at it. Like, you know how I usually say that I'm terrible at video games, and then I end up beating them in about a week?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not happening here, and it's because of a very interesting design decision that is apparently in all of the Saga games that I just flat out didn't know about. You see, Romancing Saga is specifically designed so you are not allowed to power grind in it, and it does this by scaling up the enemies with equivalents of how you are currently statted. So, although there is supposedly
the enemies get tougher. But
yes, the enemies get tougher as you continue to gain stats, and I constantly feel like I'm in ever-present danger, which was the point. But also, it makes it so that you're not really supposed to be grinding like at all. And as a JRPG, as a fan of JRPGs, it's such a weird twist on the genre for me.
Well, it's not that you can't power grind. It's that the cost of getting the experience you need to level up keeps rising.
No, actually, the cost of power grinding isn't that you're not accruing additional power, because you are accruing additional power. The actual cost is that your power means less.
Well, but as long as you kill the enemies, then you do get like basically the same amount of experience, right?
Well, because it's not an experience system, it's a stat growth system. Yeah. Yeah, that is when I decided, you know what, we've not done carriers at all, so we're finally gonna buckle down and do carriers.
No carriers.
Well, no, not woo, because we went carriers, I cut out an entire part of us building up our force. No joke. Even with 2 Stargates, it took me a whole 15 minutes to like half an hour to build up the force that I need in order to take down this mission. But this was like the second time I had attempted this mission. I was like, I don't want to do what I always end up doing and just sitting on dragoons the whole time. Especially because what I wanted to do for this playthrough was sit on DTs. They're the new unit, they're stupidly powerful, and they can, if you're skilled enough with them, actually do the things that you want really nicely. But I couldn't do it, man. I could not get the DTs to work for all of these missions. So I ended up sitting on dragoons for the most part, and after I felt really disappointed with that. Also, please note that our carriers automatically come with the +4 interceptors upgrade for some reason. I don't know why they did that, but they did that. So yeah, this mission kind of pushes you into carriers without you realizing it.
This is as long as we understand that we've arrived at this moment, much like how in a vacuum things will be propelled on a trajectory that continues as long as it's not affected by other forces. You too must work on your Vespane, your mineral creation, and get on the path you need early so that 45 minutes from then you will finally arrive at glory.
Half an hour. I mean, I don't like how slow the production is, but I'm not gonna try and exaggerate and say that it takes more than 45 minutes to build up this force. It doesn't take that long, but it feels like it takes that long. But yeah, in order to actually secure getting all of our carriers out, we need to we jump cut it to having about half of our carriers done.
Now, every time I see those the blue archons, and I see the gas like flowing from their face, I'm, my eyes, my eyes.
So what's new in the world of Cloud?
You asked me this in the last part.
I did. What else is new in the world of Cloud?
What else is new? I have no voice today. I mean, I do have a voice. It's just I don't, because I really laid it on yesterday. Very, very stressful day yesterday, but I won't go into that. What's important is that you must take good care of your voice, because like a child, it will cry when it is upset, and it feels the pain. Trademark, copyright, blah blah.
Instructions. Trying
That's
to build
a lot of carriers.
It is a lot of carriers. We built 12 333 carriers, and the big thing that always bothers me about carriers is that you have to build interceptors alongside them. So not only do carriers cost 300 minerals and 300 Vespane, but you also need to get the +4 interceptors research usually, which I think is 150, 150. So there's that as a down payment, and then you have to build 8 interceptors for each carrier, which is an additional 200 minerals. Carriers are stupid expensive, and they are not fucking worth it.
I don't know. What do you feel like doing today? I don't know. What do you feel like doing today? I don't know. What do you feel like doing today? I don't know. What do you feel like doing today?
Apparently, I felt like building carriers.
And they can't decide on what to do. They're just cluttering around each other like geese.
Well, that's because I don't actually have them with any patrol or movement commands, because I don't actually want to reveal that I've got these until they're ready to go, despite the fact that they've already been revealed to my opponent, because my opponent is cheating. But, we don't need to go into that. Thank you, past Gerdat.
Present Cloud is... thank you. Thank you, past Gerdat. Present Cloud thanks you. Now fly!
But yeah, this assault took me 2 attempts, and I don't know what changed about attempt number 2.
Dun 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 dun.
If you have a slower computer, do not attempt to go... If you have a much older computer that can barely play Diablo 2, do not attempt carriers, because this is what your screen just turns into. It turns into a swarm of blue gold things just flying around.
Jesus Christ, the havoc.
And yes, I actually have other carriers at home being built, because look at this shit. We're not even really starting on our primary attack, and one of our carriers is already half fucking dead. I hate how terribly fragile carriers are, especially for how expensive they are. They are not fucking worth it. They take forever to build, they don't do all that much damage, and their biggest strength is the fact that they have this swarm of interceptors that they get to use. But despite the fact that the interceptors are replenishable, they don't. The interceptors without full air upgrades are not fucking worth it.
Sorry, but the princess is in another castle.
That's almost what he said, but yeah. There are two Phantom Alderises and a real Alderis on the map. The real Alderis will be the last one that you kill. Hey, that's an Archon that we don't have. Let's mind control it. Where'd it go? Oh, never mind. One of the big things that makes carriers so fragile is the fact that they don't get any additional defense against other air units. So 12 scouts will probably kill 12 carriers, especially with dedicated focus fire. I'm just doing attack move, but to be perfectly honest,
that's a carrier.
Yeah, it's a carrier though, and I've got 12, so this should be a very easy fight for me, right? Just, set the carriers here. But you'll notice, one of the absolute worst things about carriers is the fact that if the carriers get into a fight with themselves, the interceptors will just fight each other for the entire duration. It is stupid. What? Yes, carrier on carrier battles. No, that's not friendly fire. It's not. But carrier on carrier battles turn in if you have them on attack move. The carriers will send the interceptors after other interceptors instead of actual important targets, like the carriers in charge of those interceptors. So what carrier on carrier combat turns into is, hey, how long can we have infinite interceptors on the battlefield?
Look, I just want to point out for the record that throwing your opponent off kilter wins games, especially if your opponent is human. I would be crying right now if I was up against a hornet's nest for my opponent.
Is that why you don't like me to go Void Race?
Well, I mean, I've seen exaggerated win conditions. Both you and my buddy will just summon a fleet of these, lobster claw-looking energy slingers en masse, just a wave of death like divine retribution upon me. And it's scary.
I fucking love Void Rays. Void Rays are what carriers should have been. And for the record, carriers come back in Starcraft 2, and they're just as useless there.
Look at this crap. I can't even tell what's happening sometimes.
Yeah, because I don't really have the ability to focus on it. I'm just having my carriers go under attack move. That way I don't have to deal with trying to figure out what all is happening. I'm trying to make sure that my stuff back at home I'm trying to make sure that my stuff back at home is still okay. I'm trying to make sure that my Dark Archon that I brought along with me is still alive. I'm trying to make sure that the spare carriers are still being reinforced correctly. I mean, if you want to focus on the rest of your forces, building a fleet of carriers will work, but you should not do that because building a fleet of carriers is fucking stupid.
In the long run, yes, I would agree. In the short run, however, if you can overwhelm your opponent before you lose too many carriers, then you could win. I think it's just a matter of timing. The earlier you push the advantage with the carriers, the higher your win probability. But it decreases as the game goes on. Again, because they're stupidly expensive, and your opponent, if he's using,
so it looks like I was wrong.
Less costly materials, then yeah, he's probably going to come back.
Surrender your remaining forces and join us in eradicating.
Yay!
I would sooner die, Dark One, than tarnish the memory of Ire by joining with you. Your fate was sealed the moment your matriarch allied herself with the Queen of Blades. Those of us
I have the King of Hearts.
Ire will never be slaves to Kerrigan and her broods.
Alderis, be reasonable.
Alderis, how dare you?
She no longer seeks to enslave anyone.
Sure thing, Artanis.
Do not force us to destroy you.
That's what you think.
Afford to be so naive, Artanis. While you were securing the crystals, I discovered that your matriarch has been harboring a dark secret. She has been manipulated by
I have no time for this.
And so Kerrigan kills Aldaris.
Just cleaned up your mess, Fractals. Don't be so squeamish.
Wretched creature. This was our Protoss matter. You had no right to interfere. Be gone from this world.
That was supposed to be our kill!
Yep.
Fine. I've done what I came here to do. I've ensured the destruction of the renegade Cerebrits, and I used you to do it. Have fun, mighty Protoss.
So yeah, Kerrigan is still a bitch.
Real soon.
Whoosh! Away!
Away.
And in the next part, we will start the finale of the Protoss
Victory?
campaign. Be safe, everybody.